While Windows 10 pushes the boundaries on mobile, mobile security keeps pace. I'm Tonya Hall for ZDNet and Tech Republic, and joining me is Dr. Michael Covington. He is the Vice President of Product at Wandera. Welcome, Michael.
Thanks for having me.
So what is Wandera known for?
So Wandera offers mobile security and data management to organizations that are really deploying mobility to a knowledge workforce, really trying to equip their employees with smartphones, tablets, and even Windows 10 PCs that are connected to the internet. And we offer some services on top of those devices.
Mobile device administration and security is much more complicated than that, for example, the desktop. So explain some of the challenges that you face with mobile.
Yeah, I think it's really interesting because a lot of organizations, they want to adopt mobility. So they start buying devices, they equip them with data plans, put them in the hands of end users, and then realize, holy smokes, all of our previous investments no longer apply to monitoring and protecting these devices. If you look at the trends that you see today with mobile data, more than half of the internet traffic today is attributed to a mobile device, like an iOS phone or an Android tablet. And we're seeing the trends increasing, almost doubling year over year in terms of mobile data consumption. What that means is that none of the traffic from those devices is going through the secure web gateways, the next-gen firewalls, using any of that protection that's been put at the perimeter of the enterprise. And so these devices are essentially unprotected as they go out to the world. And you really need to rethink the way you deliver security and you manage data on these devices because they really were developed from scratch. They don't look a lot at all like the old desktops that are in the enterprise.
You just launched a new product, X10 for Windows 10. Explain the problem this product is designed to solve.
Sure. So a lot of our customers are enabling their end users to take Windows 10 laptops out into the world, be productive wherever they are, whether it's in the office connected to company Wi-Fi or out in the world connected to a smartphone, a MiFi device, or even using an embedded SIM. And as they make this transition away from company Wi-Fi, they're using a lot of data. If you look at a typical application like Skype, you use about 2 gigs of data just for an hour-long call. And if you think of what the typical worker is going to be doing as they're out on the road, just with worker tasks, that's an incredible amount of data over the course of a month. And so companies who are trying to empower their employees with this technology are finding that they're limited in costs. The budgets to maintain these devices and the connections is really skyrocketing as they try to embrace mobility a little bit more broadly.
What was the most significant takeaway and what was the most surprising data point that you found?
So I think the most surprising data point for me as we studied how Windows 10 devices were working on these cellular networks is the amount of background activity that is common on just a fresh vanilla install of Windows 10. We see about 0.3 gigs of data a day just from background activity. If you add that up over the course of the month, you're looking at almost 10 gigabytes of usage just from applications that run in the background. That's not considering things like streaming videos and conference calls and getting your Outlook downloads to come down to the device. And so it's an incredible amount of data that enterprise workers are consuming on these connected devices.
How does your solution work with mobile devices that might be owned by the employee?
So we support both bring your own device, choose your own device, and corporate liable device plans. And really what's unique about our Windows 10 solution is that it's compatible with all of these other enterprise tools that are going to be installed on that device. So whether they have a VPN or they need to use a secure web gateway when they're in certain campus locations, we will be compatible with that. In fact, our solution is fully self-contained on the device. And what we're able to do is expose controls that allow the company to say which applications should be running on what type of networks. Essentially, if you think of a Windows 10 device that connects, it's either metered or unmetered in terms of the connection that it's going to be using. On those metered connections, you want to be thoughtful about how you're using that data because it costs the company a lot of money. Do you want to allow operating system updates? My guess is probably not, because a typical operating system update these days is about 2 gigs. Do you want to allow video conference calls when the device is roaming and incurring more cost per gigabyte? Those are the types of controls that we're able to allow companies to impose on the device. And our policies apply not just to applications, but also to URLs that are typed into the browser. So if you think of Netflix, you can control a policy for the app, as well as whether or not the user tries to visit that site through a browser.
What are some of the notable trends you're seeing related to security and data management?
I think the biggest trend that I'm seeing right now is around unified endpoint management. Really, organizations are trying to get all of their devices, whether they're in the data center, on somebody's desk in the office, or out in the field in somebody's hand as they're talking to a customer, managed through a single kind of platform instead of services. And that's really why we adopted the Windows 10 solution. We've previously had a solution that worked very well on iOS and Android smartphones and tablets. And we realized that over the next few years, Windows 10 is kind of the next frontier for mobility. We're seeing more and more Windows 10-based devices come out with embedded connectivity. We wanted to offer those same controls on top of those devices for companies.
Do you foresee a time when mobile operating systems will include native support for enterprise administration similar to that found on the business desktop?
It's a great question. So we actually have partnered with Microsoft around the eSIM ecosystem, essentially looking at how you deliver connectivity to the device through software and how you orchestrate that from the mobile operator all the way down to the device. And so I absolutely do believe that those controls will be baked into the operating system and that it will be an ecosystem of partners that enable that to not only be deployed, but to be managed over time as well.
Dr. Michael Covington, Vice President of Product at Wandera. If somebody wants to connect with you, maybe they want to find out more about your work or get some advice, how can they do that?
Really easy. Just visit our website. It's Wandera, WANDERA.com.
All right. Thanks again, Michael. And if
Thanks
you guys want to find more of my interviews, you can do that right here on ZDNet or Tech Republic, or go to my website, tonyahall.net. I've got links to all my social sites. Thanks for watching.